Iraqi Dinar today latest news. The global financial world is currently fixated on a sequence of events that unfolded this evening, suggesting a potentially monumental shift in the value of the Iraqi dinar. This is not the familiar echo of historical speculation, but a convergence of factors that suggests Iraq's long-term economic strategy may be reaching a critical inflection point. For countless individuals across the world who have been closely tracking this process, the latest indications circulating through secure banking and institutional channels point to a foundational system activation that could mark the beginning of a complete financial overhaul. What has been discussed for years as a possibility now carries the weight of apparent confirmation from the internal machinery of global finance. The activity, which reportedly began around 7:00 p.m. Eastern Time, has caused a cascade of communication across international financial desks and private investor networks. The primary point of interest is the reported appearance of contract rates within live banking environments. This technical detail is significant because it moves the discussion beyond theory and into the realm of practical implementation. Insiders and seasoned analysts are describing this moment as a genuine system synchronization, a verifiable internal action that reflects an updated valuation being recognized within secure, prearranged financial protocols before any widespread public announcement. This movement is seen as the initial spark in what could be one of the most significant currency events of the modern era. To fully grasp the magnitude of this alleged development, it is essential to understand the concept of a contract rate within the context of a currency revaluation. A contract rate is a specially negotiated, pre-agreed exchange value, often substantially higher than the existing public or street market rate. These rates are typically reserved for a select group of authorized entities, including major banks, international institutions, and verified volume holders, as part of confidential, structured agreements that manage the controlled rollout of a new value. The reported visibility of these rates within live, operational financial screens serves as a powerful, if unofficial, signal that the internal process of value adjustment has commenced. Historically, a revaluation procedure does not materialize as a single, sudden event, but unfolds in a series of distinct, deliberate stages. The activation of contract rates is generally considered the second, to last step in this structured sequence, positioned just before the public exchange rate is officially released and integrated into platforms like forex. The significance of this particular stage cannot be overstated. It signifies that the preparatory work is complete, the systems are aligned, and the final countdown to public recognition has been initiated. Observers are therefore treating this as a pre-launch window, a period of maximum readiness before the final official word arrives from Baghdad. The specific timing of this evening's reported activity, between 7:00 p.m. and 11:00 p.m. Eastern Time, is also viewed as highly deliberate and strategic. These late hours are internationally recognized as a critical synchronization window for global banking networks. It is during this time that major financial institutions worldwide perform overnight updates, international settlement resets, and quiet system integrations. By choosing this precise window, Iraq's central bank, likely in close coordination with global financial partners, may be aiming to integrate the new currency value seamlessly and discreetly, minimizing any immediate volatility or market disruption that an abrupt daytime announcement might trigger. The narrative emerging from the financial world aligns perfectly with the public actions and official statements emanating from Iraq itself over the preceding months and years. The Central Bank of Iraq has consistently signaled its commitment to fortifying the national currency, modernizing its digital banking infrastructure, and reducing the economy's reliance on the U.S. dollar. These policy decisions, from enforcing currency controls to integrating with global electronic payment standards, were always viewed by economists as necessary preconditions for a successful currency revaluation, and a return to full economic sovereignty. Indeed, the long-term, calculated preparation for this moment is what lends so much credence to the current reports. Iraq has not rushed this process. Every major economic reform, from anti-corruption measures within the banking sector to establishing modern payment systems, has been a component of a multi-year strategy. The goal has been clear: to re-establish the dinar as a respected and globally traded currency. This deep-seated strategic foundation suggests that any major system movement now would be the result of a coordinated national-level plan reaching its final execution phase, rather than a fleeting, isolated event. Further supporting this conclusion are the tangible, real-world shifts within the Iraqi economy. The government has increasingly shifted its lucrative oil sales from being settled in U.S. dollars to utilizing the dinar, a monumental step in reclaiming monetary control. Simultaneously, new bilateral and regional trade agreements are being structured to use the local currency, effectively positioning Iraq as a more independent and influential economic force in the Middle East. These economic sovereignty measures are fundamental prerequisites that must be in place before a currency can credibly undergo a significant upward adjustment in value on the world stage. The palpable reaction across various digital communities, spanning from private finance groups to public forums, underscores the gravity of the reported events. Phrases like "it's live" and "rates are in" are dominating the discourse, reflecting an intense anticipation that has built up over years of waiting and speculation. For the dedicated observers who have maintained their focus on the Iraqi dinar's long-term potential, the reported system confirmations feel like a validation of their patience. However, this period of heightened excitement is also when caution is most necessary, as financial professionals universally advise adhering strictly to verified, official information channels to avoid the surge of unverified claims that often accompany such major developments. The credibility of this evening's news is significantly bolstered by its alignment with the consistent pattern of visible, verifiable progress within Iraq's financial system. Over the last year, a steady march toward international financial integration has been documented. This includes the government's efforts to curtail the use of the U.S. dollar in domestic transactions, the enforcement of rigorous currency controls designed to protect the dinar's inherent value, and the finalization of major contracts to be settled solely in the local currency. When these real-world economic maneuvers converge with reports of internal digital system updates, the composite picture strongly suggests that a major, structured transition is underway. The staged nature of a currency revaluation, as outlined by financial experts, clearly places the current reports in the final, sensitive phase. The typical sequence involves internal tests, followed by the synchronization of global systems, the upload of contract rates for select entities, and then, finally, the public release of the new rate on international exchanges. The current sightings of active contract rates indicate Iraq is operating within the narrow window between private institutional execution and public announcement. This critical stage implies that official public confirmation and the activation of the final rate could be a matter of hours or just a few days, depending on the successful completion of the global system alignment process. On the ground in Iraq, citizens are reportedly starting to notice the subtle, yet definitive, signs of an imminent currency transition. Reports from cities like Baghdad and Basra indicate that new generation lower denomination notes have been prepared and distributed. Point-of-sale POS terminals in shops are being recalibrated, and a number of ATM have been taken offline for essential, system-wide updates. Furthermore, local media outlets have begun airing educational segments focused on currency reform, familiarizing the public with new banknotes and digital payment capabilities. This high level of coordination between the banking sector and public communication channels is a historical marker that precedes a major financial reveal. The potential revaluation is not merely an internal Iraqi matter. The global financial community is monitoring this moment with acute interest. Regional markets in the Middle East and Asia are particularly attentive, given Iraq's expanding trade partnerships that move beyond traditional oil exports. Should Iraq successfully revalue and stabilize its currency, it would serve as a powerful economic precedent for other developing nations seeking to reduce their dependence on dominant global currencies and establish more robust, locally controlled monetary systems. The ramifications of this event could thus extend far beyond Iraq's borders, potentially inspiring a broader reform movement in how emerging economies manage their financial sovereignty. Furthermore, reports suggest that banking institutions in financial hubs across the U.S. and Europe have received internal alerts signifying system updates related to new currency values. Concurrently, the operational centers responsible for handling large-scale exchanges are reportedly undertaking preparatory steps for verification and scheduling. It is crucial to emphasize that this institutional activity is strictly infrastructural preparation. It does not imply immediate public access, but it is a clear indication that the necessary framework for a global currency exchange event is being activated in real time. In the history of such global monetary adjustments, these system triggers have consistently served as the final, indisputable green light before public exchange windows open. For individuals who have followed the dinar story for many years, enduring countless cycles of rumors and delays, the visible activation of these systems feels like the most concrete moment of validation yet. The current landscape is differentiated from past speculation because the systems are reportedly live. The banking synchronization is underway, and the timing perfectly aligns with the detailed roadmaps long discussed by expert analysts. This simultaneous convergence of policy, economic action, and digital system reporting creates the most credible environment for a full currency revaluation in Iraq's recent history, leading many to feel they are witnessing history in real time. Looking ahead, the next anticipated development is a formal validation from official Iraqi channels, likely the central bank, which may manifest as an updated official exchange rate published within the next 24 to 48 hours rather than a televised speech. Following this internal validation, the rate will begin to be recognized by international financial institutions and data providers, at which point the change will effectively become public. The subsequent stages, the adjustment of forex platforms, the opening of exchange appointments, and the market stabilization around the new value will then proceed in a controlled, multi-stage rollout designed to manage the transition smoothly. The ultimate significance of this potential revaluation transcends mere monetary figures. If Iraq successfully completes this process, it will symbolize the country's full economic emancipation and return to sovereignty following decades of external dependence. A stronger dinar promises to enhance Iraq's national purchasing power, significantly boost foreign investor confidence, and permanently end the domestic necessity of relying on foreign currencies for trade and daily life. For the Iraqi populace, it is a profound symbol of hope, the national currency finally reflecting the true value of the country's vast natural resources and the hard-won effort of rebuilding the nation. In a broader global context, this development also intersects with a growing movement toward financial realignment. Many world financial experts have posited that the global economy is slowly pivoting toward currency systems backed by tangible assets and reserves, rather than solely digital credit. By strategically anchoring the dinar to its immense oil wealth, Iraq is positioning itself at the forefront of this emerging trend toward more transparent and fundamentally stable monetary policies. This makes the Iraqi Dinar story not just a local event, but a potential blueprint for other nations seeking a more balanced, resource-backed economic framework. For anyone tracking this complex story, whether a currency holder or a general observer of world finance, the imperative remains consistent: adopt an approach of informed patience. It is crucial to draw information exclusively from official, verified channels, and to maintain a prepared but non-impulsive stance. The moments immediately following an official announcement will likely be characterized by clear, structured instructions regarding the exchange process, necessary documentation, and timelines. This emphasis on transparency and security is the hallmark of a legitimate financial operation and is the best defense against any potential misinformation or fraudulent claims that may arise. Emotionally, this period represents a powerful culmination for millions globally. Many have sustained their interest for over a decade, navigating waves of both disappointment and renewed hope, maintaining a belief in Iraq's eventual rise and the strengthening of its currency. Now, with the reported signs of system activation and a coordinated path forward, that enduring hope appears to be moving closer to realization. This narrative fundamentally is about far more than currency. It speaks to the power of national perseverance, economic reform, and the resilient determination of a nation rebuilding its foundation from the ground up. A story that holds significant inspiration for observers worldwide. As we conclude this special report on the latest developments, the phrase "history in the making" is warranted. Every signal, the digital system updates, the strategic timing, the international banking chatter, and the tangible local reforms, is aligning with remarkable precision. This simultaneous coordination of all necessary elements strongly suggests that the revaluation of the Iraqi dinar, if publicly confirmed in the coming days, will stand as one of the most structurally prepared and closely watched financial events of this century. Therefore, remaining calm, staying focused on official sources, and continuing to monitor this space are the key actions as this pivotal story unfolds in real time.